It's just breaking today, Frederick, and it's interesting because it's been quiet for a long time about Brian Williams. People have been wondering when NBC is going to make an announcement because he's under this 6-month suspension. It goes on for another 3 months, but it's increasingly untenable for NBC not to be commenting. And what the New York Times and the Washington Post reported last night was that, as you said, there's a number of examples of embellishments that haven't been made publicly known, but have been found by NBC. And my sources are telling me the same thing, that at least 10 instances of exaggerations have been found. And maybe the most important detail is this. The head of all of NBC Universal had a meeting on Thursday where he learned about this. He heard about these findings. That suggests to me that NBC might be nearing a decision about what to do in this very difficult case. It's in some ways a no-win situation for NBC, but this is something that does seem to be coming to a head as these newspaper reports indicate.
Right, and you know, Brian, it's been difficult, but even more so now because Andy Lack is now the chairman of NBC. He's making a return to NBC. Right, and he was the one who kind of anointed, Brian Williams. He's the one who said, this is going to be the heir apparent for Tom Brokaw. And now it has happened, but then now, he's not in that chair, and it's Andy Lack who ultimately is going to make that decision about whether to bring him back. So it's very complicated in many ways.
Yeah, so often we talk about these professional dramas, but they're ultimately personal dramas. They're about personal relationships. Right. Brian Williams has some fans at NBC, has a close relationship with his new boss, Andy Lack, but he also has a lot of detractors. A lot of people want to see Lester Holt, who's been filling in quite capably, actually keep that job. They don't think Brian Williams' credibility can be restored, and they believe he's going to have to step aside. It seems to me like NBC is coming to a decision soon on this, and maybe this stuff is leaking out in the New York Times and the Washington Post because of that. That's just my guess, but I've seen it happen before in the TV news business.